Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria hosted a strategic forum engaging financial market stakeholders on the recent flexible forex policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria. President of the Institute, Professor Segun Ajibola, set the stage with his remarks.
As we are aware, the interaction between business management and exchange rate is very profound, especially in developing economies such as Nigeria, where heavy reliance is placed on imported basic necessities of life. This is so because the array of imported items covers consumer durables and non-durables, heavy industrial plants and machinery, manpower and technology. Hence, most businesses operating in such countries depend on a friendly exchange rate regime to survive and/or operate profitably. The flexible exchange rate is therefore another attempt at finding a workable exchange rate regime in Nigeria and for Nigerians. The underlying facts are well known. In a situation where there are supply rigidities, attempts to administratively regulate prices promote black marketeering. Herein lies the challenge for the authorities. Should Naira be allowed to float freely? Some have even argued that pegging the exchange rate at about 270 Naira to $1, as is the situation at the moment, is equally unrealistic. Whatever view is held, the immediate implications of the flexible exchange rate regime on businesses of all types and at all levels are many. 1, increase in cost of factor inputs, hence cost of production. However, with stagnated wages, low productivity, fall in real income due to inflation, and increasing level of unemployment, the capacity of consumers to absorb further increases in commodity prices is limited. And if this is the situation, we may witness fall in total demand, leading to reduced output, stunted growth, and reverse development, eventually fall in both nominal and real GDP.
Mr. Ikechukwu Kelikume of the Lagos Business School, who moderated the panel session, gave an assessment of the Nigerian forex market, raising key issues.
What are the implications of the new exchange rate regime? Does this technically mean that the Naira has been devalued? Currently, the official exchange rate is trading at 248 to $1 and the BDC segment is also trading at 360 to $1, which shows the Naira is further depressing. There's a further depressing of the Naira against the US dollar, even after we have floated the exchange rate. Questions we are faced with is how liberal is the current exchange rate regime? What is the major driver of exchange rate? Is it the supply side, the demand side, or both? Why is the Naira falling further against the US dollar, contrary to speculation that in a free float, the Naira will appreciate in no time against the US dollar? Currently, oil price has risen to an all-time high of $46.8. It rose to $50 and dropped currently to $46.8 per barrel. Why is the rise not reflected in the appreciation of the Naira against the dollar? It is almost 1 month since the Naira was floated. Why are foreign investors yet to come into the market? How should firms respond to recurrent dynamics of the Nigerian economy?
The panelists at the forum gave their various interventions on the Nigerian flexible forex regime and the business dynamics in the country.
On the side of, the government that is suspicious about the regime, that is not fully in support of it. And then you have on the side of, the policymakers, CIBN in this case, that is trying to implement, the system. That's a big problem because there's a question mark. How long are these parties going to hold out their positions? And what is one party going to do to support or to undermine the other? Because the truth is that if you want to run this kind of regime, there is what government must do to make things work. If government does not do it, then we would end up being worse off.
We should not continue to look at our old ways, like we're always looking up to central bank to drench the market with dollars without relating it to the fiscal policy issues of government. For example, it would be helpful if the government can reflate the economy through effective application of the budget and, carry out almost 100% of what they plan to do with the funds and introduce into the economy. And then the liquidity will increase so that the foreign exchange market will not be solely dependent on whatever central bank is bringing in. We are looking forward to the promise by government to push the issue of agric and solid minerals, which would enable us to create more employment and get a lot of people busy and to be generating income on their own, even if to satisfy our own domestic needs, and then be able to export a little more, and then the economy will be so diversified.
So I think if government gets the policies and fundamentals right, which they are doing presently, we expect that things will going to move on. And then basically again is that if the problem of Nigeria, I'm from Niger Delta. I don't believe that we will not negotiate and support what is doing, even though some of criminal aspect. Because this is one product that we all depend on. We must find a way of bringing peace into the Niger Delta.
The CIBN president speaks further on the essence of the forum and gives his takeaways from the discourse.
The flexible exchange rate regime is an innovation from the monetary authorities to introduce some stability and some credibility into our foreign exchange market. We know the role of foreign exchange in this kind of environment. We are still heavily dependent on imported items. Our banks have transactions denominated in foreign exchange. So many stakeholders in the economy rely on foreign exchange for their economic activities. So whatever policy changes come into that market, they go into the very, very deepest side of our economic structure. So the change needs to be highlighted, the change needs to be x-rayed, the change needs to be well understood by the stakeholders. So we believe bringing together players in terms of operators and regulators and other stakeholders in the foreign exchange market in Nigeria to examine this particular innovation in the market is the right thing the institute should do, so that our own members, corporate and individual in the banks and financial institutions, will appreciate the nitty-gritty and the vagaries that come along with the flexible exchange rate regime.
As we approach 1 month since the flexible FX regime was unveiled, the debate over its viability will continue, but one important thing is that all stakeholders must ensure that it achieves the goal of effective allocation of forex for Nigeria.